Chris, you've got new information here. What is the latest?
Yeah, there have been preliminary discussions between the Lakers and the Nuggets about a deal that would send Carmelo Anthony to Los Angeles, and Andrew Bynum would be the main part of the package that the Lakers would send to Denver.
So Lamar, again, Andrew Bynum, the main part of the package. What more do you think it would take to get this done? And would this deal, as the one that's been proposed involving the Knicks, would it require a third team as well?
This would not necessarily require a third team. The Nuggets have no interest in Ron Artest, and they may not even, request Lamar Odom in such a trade because he makes $9 million next year, and they would be going young. A straight-up deal of Carmelo for Bynum does work financially under the collective bargaining agreement. So it could just be those two, but Denver would likely try to get a few other players involved because it would look to shed as much salary as possible.
Obviously, a lot of teams have been shying away from perhaps throwing their hats in the ring, believing that Anthony would not sign a contract extension and would just become a very high-price rental. Would Anthony, in your opinion, want to sign that sort of extension to remain in Los Angeles?
Yeah, I've heard all along, ever since the summer when, it looked like Carmelo was going to be moved, that Los Angeles would be a place he would be interested in going. Now, the feeling has been that it really wasn't a realistic possibility, and that's why he kind of narrowed his list to New York and Chicago. One person who's fairly close to Carmelo has told me he would go to the Lakers. So I really don't think that would be a stumbling block to this deal. I think Melo, I can't say with 100% certainty, but I believe strongly that he would be amenable to go into a deal with the Los Angeles Lakers.
And suddenly the Lakers, like the Heat, perhaps would have issues to work out with Kobe Bryant and Carmelo Anthony having to figure out who would get the shots if it happened. But to that point, ultimately, as the trade deadline now bears down, is Carmelo Anthony at the end of that going to be a Knick or a Laker?
Obviously, that's a great question. I think right now the Lakers and Nuggets have just had discussions. So I'm not sure that the Lakers have actually put an offer on the table and said, look, we'll give you Bynum for Carmelo. I think they've just kind of talked about it a few times. But if they do go ahead with that offer, it really comes down to Denver weighing between, look, we can get a potential star in Andrew Bynum who has serious health problems. He's had injury problems throughout his career, or we could go with the young assets they get from New York, Wilson Chandler, and New York Denver is looking for more than a Chandler, Corey Brewer from Minnesota package. They would probably want a Danilo Gallinari or a Landry Fields. So they have to weigh, do they want the potential star or just a few young assets? I believe they would go the route of trading for Andrew Bynum because he does have much bigger upside than any of those players that they could get from New York.